tweezers.
They're tweezers. Well, it was in my way. So I'm standing at my standing desk, and I have a shelf under there that holds cables, but because it goes up and down, and I don't keep my microphone here the whole time, my mic cable was dangling and bouncing on my knees, and that was getting annoying.
It sounds very hot, actually. It's very sexual. I love doing recordings. Okay, let's move on.
That's moving on. So we didn't have an episode last week. We had a closet. We had a closet.
We had a colostomy bag.
We had a colostomy bag. No, we did a classic episode.
Yes.
And I actually didn't listen to it, so I don't even remember that episode, but it was all the way back from 2019. So it's a true classic.
Yeah.
So welcome back, everybody. Welcome to PoddiMouths again. One of the reasons we had to do a classic is because John and I have been traveling quite a bit.
Good gracious, we have.
And so, John, I know this isn't a big deal for you. It's probably not a big deal for a lot of our listeners. But for me, this was the first time I've gotten on an airplane in probably 18 months.
Where did you go?
I went to Houston.
Oh, okay.
Good old Houston, Texas.
I used to live in Houston. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did know that.
Okay, then
we've
never mind.
known each other a long time.
Dang it. You know
I know.
everything.
Not everything. Okay. I won't admit to knowing everything.
So tell us, even though it's true.
Well, the flight in general isn't the point. There are two things that happened here, and I find it very, very interesting. So my favorite airline, you have your dinger?
Right here.
All right. My favorite airline is United.
If you don't know what my dinger is, I just want to be clear, because if we have new listeners and viewers, you say, do you have your dinger? Why, yes, I do. I want to
yes, sure I do.
We know what it is. Okay, let's go back to it. You said your favorite airline is?
Right now is United. And not a sponsor. Not a sponsor. No, they just and the reason is there really isn't anything that's outstanding about them versus any other airline that I've ever been on. I used to fly Northwest everywhere, and that was just fine, and it did the job, and they all do the job. But here, I'm a points whore, as we all know, very well know. United is tied with Marriott, as is Uber Eats, by the way. Have you connected your Uber Eats or your Uber app to your Marriott points yet?
I haven't.
You need to do that. They're quick.
No,
bam. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah,
anyway, so that's why I choose United if I can, and I really like it. So on the way there, I flew coach, and while the back of the plane was actually pretty packed, I don't know why people didn't move around. I was closer to the front, not first class, but I was closer to the front, and there was only one other person in front of me off to the side. So it was a small plane. It was a 2x2, but I had a lot of space, and I could stretch out my legs, and it was just a very calm flight. All they served was drinks. They didn't have any food, which, for me is fine. I don't like to eat when I'm on the airplane anyways. Nice, smooth flight, even though they said it was going to be bumpy. We get in, we get out, no problem. I get bumped up to first class for my trip home. I was kind of excited about it. I like first class. I've always liked first class.
Well, when's the last time you flew on United?
About 18 months ago.
Oh my gosh. How did you score a first class upgrade?
Well, I've got status thanks to Marriott.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Understood.
Because I'm whatever the premier status is for Marriott. It just transfers over. So I've got status on United.
Seriously?
Yes. I've told you this before.
I don't remember about the connection between the two, but okay. Keep going.
So anyway, I get bumped up to first class, and it was seat 1C. So I was right in the front. No seat.
You got to put your bag up in the overhead. And,
which is fine. I mean, I packed one bag for everything, so it's perfectly okay. That seat was so uncomfortable. My ass was hurting on the way back home. Like 20 minutes into the flight, I was shifting because it was just so rock hard. The tray table was floppy, and I couldn't put my iPad on there. And it was just a very uncomfortable flight home. And really, the only difference, instead of getting, and I could have had a cocktail, I guess. I think the guy next to me got a beer. I don't know how he did that, because I heard the flight attendants say, we don't serve liquor. but I guess they serve maybe
Except
wine and beer. It's something that's sealed.
maybe.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
know. I don't know how I had my headphones on, which is the second part of the story, so I couldn't really hear the noise canceling
Mhm.
headphones. But it was very uncomfortable. And then when we got our food, because first class does get food,
Mhm.
they just gave me a baggie with one of those small water bottles, some
Yep.
pretzels, and some cookies. What
Yep.
you would normally get in coach.
Right.
That was really the only difference. And I had to sit next to somebody. So the
But the
overall
seats are
experience, the seat's a little bit wider, yeah,
Yeah.
but not more comfortable.
And you didn't have more leg room
I didn't have any more leg room.
because you had the bulkhead.
Right.
Huh.
So I was just going, okay, I got upgraded to first class. I'm really excited about it, but my first class experience was absolutely no better than my coach experience.
So you got downgraded to first class. Is
I
that
got
what you're saying?
downgraded to first class. Exactly. I'm not complaining because it was first class, and
No,
I'm sure the more I fly and the more COVID,
sure.
take a shot,
Yeah.
goes away. I think all the services will come back and things will go back to normal, and it'll be a much more pleasant experience. But
Mhm.
there really is no reason what I'm saying to everyone is if you go on a flight and you have the option to upgrade yourself,
Yes.
it's not worth paying for it. If it's free, that's one thing. Hey, you get some cookies. But if you're going to pay to upgrade, it's not, in my book, it's not worth it right now.
But if you would have had um, any seat that wasn't in row one, it's
I might have
much
been
better.
happier. I might have
Yeah.
been happier. Yeah.
And that's why sometimes, even when they upgrade you, they allow you to choose your seat
Yeah.
in that class of service.
Yeah.
I will never choose a row one seat.
Yeah. No, and I didn't get to choose. It was just given to me.
You couldn't go. Oh, it was at the
Mhm.
time you checked in?
Yep.
Got
Yep.
it. Okay. Or boarded or whatever.
No, it was ahead of time, but it was an email. It was the day before. No, it was the day of. It was the day of. So
Don't you have the app?
I do, but it wouldn't let me choose.
Ah,
It didn't let me choose.
okay. Well, I don't fly United enough to know the app store.
Normally it does. Normally it will, but
Yeah.
this time it didn't. It wouldn't let me choose. Yeah.
Interesting.
Very interesting. So
Okay.
that was my flight experience. But I get home and I have a really nice set of Bose Bluetooth over the ear headphones.
Me too.
And
Love 'em.
and so I get home and everything's fine, and I set them on the counter and I picked them up. I guess it was this morning. Might have been yesterday morning. I don't remember. I think it was yesterday morning. Yeah, it was yesterday morning. I picked him up to bring him up to my office so I could listen to some music while I was working. And all of a sudden we hear ting 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 ting. I'm like, what the heck? And one of the ear pieces was dangling on the end. The pin that holds it up had
Mhm.
fallen out.
Ah.
We couldn't find the pin anywhere, so we found all the nuts that go, or the washers that go on it,
Mhm.
but not the pin. Looked everywhere for it, and I finally went out to my car, and it was sitting on the front seat of my car.
Oh,
But only the front, because it screws together. So there's two nuts that screw together when you stick in the pin.
okay.
One of the nuts is gone, just completely
Oh,
gone. So this was the pin, and the
sure.
nut on the end is gone. I'm like, okay, well, that's a simple fix, right? Just go get a part from Bose, or go get a part that somewhere online, where it's
Mhm.
just that little screw,
Mhm.
probably a 10-cent screw. You
Mhm.
just screw it back on, tighten it, and it's all good. Bose doesn't make replacement parts.
I had to. Sorry, I
Yes, you did.
neglected it
Yeah,
earlier.
that's okay. It's fine. I forgive you.
They don't
They
make
don't.
replacement parts.
They do not make replacement part. I looked everywhere for that specific part. Now they make the ear pieces, the leather earpieces.
Okay.
You can get those, but you can't get any internal parts. I went up to the Bose website,
Yep.
and then they have the community on there.
Mhm.
And it turns out this is a common problem with those headphones, and with Bose headphones in general, where this pin, and a lot of people were saying 2 months out of warranty, which my headphones are out of warranty. 2 months out of warranty, the pin falls out.
Planned obsolescence.
Planned obsolescence is. I heard that. I read that a number of times in that
Wow.
string. So when you can go to the support page, you can go to that page, and the people from Bose will say, you're out of warranty. We can't send you a free pair, but we can send you a discounted pair if you want to buy a new one. But we don't make that part. We don't supply people with that part. So I searched everywhere on the internet to find someone that had that little part, even if it was just a used part that I could fix it with, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was one store I found on the internet. I looked everywhere. I felt
Mm-hmm.
I looked everywhere.
Yeah.
One place, part sold out. No expectations to get it back.
It's probably just as well because the part cost $250.
Yeah. It was $25 to get the part, but
wow.
Yeah.
See, okay, so let me just I have the same thing. I have many Bose products, so I'm not throwing darts at anybody.
No, I love Bose, and this even at breaking I was not upset at Bose.
Yeah.
What I was upset with was the fact that they don't make replacement parts.
Yeah, me too. I mean, first of all, it's a really good product. And
I've
had mine I had the wired for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because, little known fact, it used to be that you could not use Bluetooth devices on planes while you're in flight.
Right.
And then suddenly I see all these people with them. Oh, we changed the rule. Oh, okay, great. The rule as long as it works for you. And so anyway, so I got some and you're right, they're terrific. I would tweet to them. It seems to me Twitter is the place that a lot of these companies hang out.
Yep.
And if they don't make them, they don't make them. But it seems like they could do better than we'll give you a discount on a new pair. Really, for a tiny screw.
Yeah.
So what I would do is put it together. And even though you can't store it in the thing, if you do this, I would duct tape the hell out of it.
I might
just tell people, what happened to your headphone? Yeah, Bose does not make replacement parts and it would have only cost them wholesale probably $150 to prevent me from saying this.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Wow.
So ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I probably will. I'll probably just take the pin that I do have, stick it in there, and then hot glue on the other end.
I really duct tape so other people see it.
Yeah. What happened here? Let me tell you.
Yeah, glad you
head up to PoddiMouths.com and listen to the 20th episode on season 3.
On the duct tape, PoddiMouths.
There you go.
Wait, you've been pottied.
Yeah.
That's what
you're a genius marketer. You know that?
I sure am. You're going to see a whole bunch of duct tape on Bose headphones from here on out. Mine aren't even broken, and I'm going to do it.
Oh, I'd like to see that. We'll do that and post pictures. No, I'm still not going to do it, and even though mine are the ones that are broken.
No, I'm not going to. But you should.
I should.
I'm not going to do it, although a real friend would.
I guess I'm not a real friend.
I'm supporting my friend.
So I've been looking up Beats headphones now.
Those are, oh my gosh, have you heard the story behind those? They cost next to nothing to produce. I'm sure that may be the truth for Bose, but
they probably is. Actually,
100%.
I did a search just out of curiosity for the best Bluetooth sound noise cancellation headphones, and it says best all around. The Sony WH-1000X-M4 is the best all around. Yeah, I know.
How much?
They are $278.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. So that's not horrible.
Same price range as the Bose.
And the excellent for making calls is where Bose falls in with the headphones that I have, the Quiet Comfort. Best high-end option is the AirPods, the new AirPods, Apple AirPods. The over-the-ear ones, not the ones that go in your ear.
Oh, okay.
Best true wireless. Not seen them yet. The best true wireless noise canceling, Bose Quiet Comfort earbuds. Most discreet, Apple AirPods Pro. Which the only reason I haven't gone with the Apple AirPods Pro, they fall out of my ear.
Yeah, and plus the sound quality isn't. I don't know about the Pro, but the ones where I see people with, it's they hook inside your ear. They don't really seal out as well, right? Or do they?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I could never get them to work well enough for me to
Oh,
be able to say whether they do or not.
well, I have some bows. When we play at church, I've got bows that fit and mold into the ears. They're not
Mhm.
the in ears that professionals wear, but they're very nice and got them from a friend who works for Bose, and they like twist in so they stay and they seal up pretty well.
Nice.
Yeah, they're not bad. But I have the
Well,
AirPods too. No, they're Bose. I can't think what they're called. The Sport Buds or something
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
And they're not bad, but they are wired between the two of them, and that's kind of a pain
Oh,
in
I
the butt.
hate those.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
care for it, but
Yeah.
they work in the gym. It's no big deal.
Yeah, and so you have a friend that works for Bose.
I
Can
do.
you help a brother out? Maybe they do have some replacement parts somewhere.
I can ask him.
Yeah,
I
please
will
do.
do that. Sure.
Tell
I
him
will
I'm a
do that.
very disappointed customer who's looking at Beats
I
instead
don't
of
think I'll tell him
Bose.
that. No.
Come on. You know you want to.
Come on.
So that was my travel experience this week,
Okay.
and,
Tell me
I
about
mean,
how did the maskiness go for you?
that doesn't bother me. We have to wear masks all the time at Jen's studio anyway, but it was interesting. Tennessee seems to, and it just seems to
Mhm.
be like COVID doesn't exist. It's just
Mhm.
always whenever I've gone places, no one's wearing a mask anymore now that they don't have to, especially.
Sure.
With the one exception, we did go to the Renaissance Fair a couple of weeks ago, and a lot of people there were still, even outdoors, were still wearing their masks, and I thought that was a little bit odd.
Mm.
But it's the Ren Fair, so what can you say? Um, sorry, I enjoy Ren Fair just as much as the next
Hey,
person.
you were there. It's not
I
like
was
you can
there.
throw
I was
darts.
there.
Yeah.
So other than that, it's been a pretty wild just to
Yeah.
see how many people aren't wearing masks anymore. And now it's gotten to a point where sometimes I forget, like I'll be walking into the studio going, oh crap, I
Yeah.
forgot
Me too.
my
Me too.
face mask.
And that's very
Um,
much here too. I think it's that small town Wisconsin.
mhm.
Yeah, it's very much like that nobody's wearing masks
Yeah.
anymore.
Well, and even at the Ren Fair with the people that were wearing masks, I was not expecting that many people. It
Mhm.
was absolutely packed.
Mhm.
And it was the first weekend that all the mask mandates were gone.
Sure.
And even though this wasn't even in Davidson County, and Williamson County where it was
Mhm.
hasn't had a mask mandate in a long time, but everyone was just like, woo, big party. Um, so yeah, it was pretty incredible. But going down to Texas, I was quite honestly surprised because I know Texas has been open a lot longer than pretty
Mhm.
much anywhere.
Mhm.
How many people were still wearing masks?
That's fine.
No, it's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
it's your choice,
Sure.
we are, my Jen and I have discussed it. As soon as this year is over, which this
Mhm.
weekend pretty much marks that,
Yep.
after the recital and everything, she's going to no masks unless it's personal choice.
Sure.
If you want it, that's fine. We're not gonna say a word. You can wear it as long as you want, but it is personal choice, and
Yeah.
that's how we feel personally. It's
Yeah.
it's absolutely 100% personal choice. If you feel comfortable with it, I'm fully vaccinated.
Mhm.
I'm comfortable with it without wearing a mask.
Mhm. And
So
there's nothing wrong with that. I find it's interesting because since you brought up flying and airports and airlines and so on, that's going to be the one place that I don't know if they're going to switch.
I read somewhere that September is when they're going to make the decision. Not necessarily, they're not saying they're going to do it in
Yeah,
September, but
yeah,
that's when they're not even going to think about making a decision until then.
yeah. I could live. Look, I could absolutely live with it on the planes
Mhm.
on kind of a longer term basis, just because the crap people come in with colds,
Yes.
and I have too. I'm not pointing
Yep.
finger. I've been sick on
Hell,
planes
you
before.
flew with COVID on an airplane.
Apparently I did.
Yeah.
But and I knew it, so I have COVID. Don't piss me off.
Yeah, you knew it
That's
about 12
not
months later.
what happened. Yeah, I did know later, probably 6 months. But I find it interesting that in the airport, everybody's wearing masks on the plane, and it's so silly. At Denver, they have this massive television screen that scrolls ads and so on. And they keep your distance, 6-foot distance. And then we're going to seat you on the plane where you're 2 inches apart.
Right.
It's just so stupid.
Yeah.
And that to me is, it doesn't make any sense. Anyway,
Yeah.
as I'm sitting at the Denver airport, everybody's masked up except a dude who was sitting near the moving walkway. And he had a beard that kind of looked like a mask. And it was pretty funny. I thought, if you're not going to wear a mask, because I saw people going by, and they kind of take a look, and I'm sure just out of the corners of their eyes, oh yeah, he's wearing a mask. They're wearing a mask. Everybody's wearing a mask. He wasn't wearing a mask.
Oh, wow.
And it kind of made me laugh just because he was plenty far away from me, but he had somehow subverted the system with a beard that looks like a mask.
I saw plenty of people in both airports that weren't wearing a mask.
Really?
Now, when they got into the gate area, that's a different story.
Okay.
But milling around
I haven't seen that at all.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Well, in the restaurant,
not many.
Yes.
Not in the restaurant. No, mulling around the restaurants.
Oh, okay.
So, but again, very few, like maybe 1 out of 100 people.
Okay.
Now here though, again, a comparison between what I saw in Texas versus what I saw in Nashville.
Yeah.
You watch someone walk out of the airport in Nashville and it's mask off, right?
Yeah.
In Texas, and one of our coworkers was with me, and we arrived separately. So he got there a few hours before I did and went to the rental car place. And in Houston, if you've never been to the Intercontinental Airport, you have to
IAH if you're scoring at home.
The Bush Airport. You have to go to a shuttle to get to the rental car place.
Okay.
So there you go outside and you stand on an island in the road to wait for the shuttle.
Okay.
You are outside and you are probably, 100 feet away from the building. So not close to the building really whatsoever. Mm-hmm. Our coworker walked out to that island, and he comes to Nashville all the time. So he took off his mask and he's just standing there. And then he looks over to all the people also there waiting in line, and every single one of them was masked up. So he's like, that was a little strange. So I just kind of turned and I put my mask back on and I stood there.
Well, if you're going to get on the train or the bus or whatever to go someplace, you got to put it back on.
Right.
And so, maybe that was part of it, but that was in Denver too.
That was really okay. So, but in Nashville, nope. Everyone would take their mask. Now they put it back on to get on the bus because they are very conscious of that sort of thing. But no, it was just mask off right away.
That was me too. I was the same way. When I'm outdoors, seriously, I've never. You need to worry about other things more than you need to worry about that. However, again, if somebody wants to wear the mask, that's okay. Maybe they've got a cold sore. I don't know.
Absolutely. No, I think they're great. And honestly, if I'm ever in a situation where I think I need to wear one going forward, even if COVID was gone forever, I probably would now. I'm comfortable with it, just like they do in Asia when someone's sick.
Yeah,
they wear a mask, and I think that's wonderful.
I don't, and that's why I would say on planes, I'd be fine with it. I wouldn't be fine on a really long flight, but anything 3 hours or less or whatever, I think it's great. And especially because you're in such close proximity with people,
Right. Even though that air goes through so many different scrubbers.
Well, and that's true too. So there's an argument to be made that taking them off outside is more dangerous than taking them off in the plane.
Well, I would say maybe, and I'm just speculating here, but maybe when I get a cold, when I go to travel and things like that, has less to do with the time on the airplane, more to do with the time spent in the airport.
Well, perhaps, but you're sometimes, it's not even the recirculating air. If you're right next to someone who has a cold and is sneezing and is
sure.
So I'm not sure that I think I would probably feel comfortable wearing a mask if I were not well, but had to travel anyway.
Yeah.
These days, pretty much though, happily, one of the good things about COVID is that, there's really no have to travel unless it's a big event or whatever. There are certain things you really need to, but other stuff, most people are, oh yeah, he's watching on Zoom. We had one of the people at the meeting I was at last weekend that was there on Zoom.
Yeah.
And okay, that's fine. Nobody even questioned it. And we made sure though that he could see and hear. And
Yeah.
so,
Well, all the meeting invites that we send
mhm,
tend to have Zoom invites for those who don't want to. Now,
mhm,
if everyone's coming, we don't add it, but most of the
sure.
time we'll add a Zoom link just in case. And
Yeah.
we'll if there's someone missing and they want to be a part of it, pop open the Zoom meeting.
And I think, and there's no judgment about that. It doesn't seem like,
Not
or very
whatsoever.
little if there is, but yeah, so that may be a good outcome if
Yeah.
you're searching for it
Yeah.
of what goes on. We're very serious today. Have you noticed that?
We're never serious.
Well,
Everyone's
we're
just
kind of
I'm sure people
serious.
are just laughing at us anyways.
Do you think they're laughing uproariously, or is it just
No, no,
you
no,
know,
no. That's another big word.
chortles?
Chortles. Maybe chortles, but definitely not a guffaw.
No guffaws. Okay.
No guffaws.
Okay.
No.
All right. Well, we got that out of the way. Well, that's good though. So we've been doing a little bit of traveling.
Yep. Yep.
Listeners, viewers, tell us about you. Have you been traveling? Is that and it would be fun to hear from people who have. I, I'll tell you what. I think there are some who dislike the airport experience and the flight
Mhm.
experience so much. I think a lot more people are driving and maybe going to be driving.
I think so too. I honestly, I would agree, and I don't know
Probably
how you
not to
feel.
Hawaii.
Maybe. Who
But
knows?
driving. Do they have the bridge done finally?
No, no. Well, no. But if
Okay.
you got a hovercraft,
Which I do.
I know.
I don't.
I know.
I wanted to make one once, but
There's a great video. I wouldn't call it great, maybe because the guy did crash an airplane, but he was
there's a great video. Well, not great.
well, he crashed the
It was
airplane.
yeah,
He was
terrific. That's
ferrying
great.
he was ferrying a new Cirrus to
Okay.
someone in Hawaii,
Okay.
and he only made it halfway, and something went wrong with the airplane, so he had to pull the parachute
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
go
The
down
Cirrus
in
is
the
the
ocean.
one that actually. Oh,
Mhm.
wow.
Yep. Yeah. So anyway,
So
that was
yeah,
you just made me think of that. Of course, that's our first rabbit hole, I guess. But I agree
yeah.
with that statement that the plane part doesn't bother me. I love flying. I love being in
Oh, I do
airplanes.
too.
The
We
only
both
part
do.
I hate is the landing, especially just because I can't see out the front of the airplane.
Sure.
And then when you feel the wing tip and you're like, oh, it's a crosswind, and I don't know how good this pilot is, but
Well, let's see.
my flight
He's flying a
home,
commercial jet. I'm thinking he's
yeah, well,
probably
my
or
flight
she
home,
is probably pretty darn good.
he was struggling in the crosswind in Nashville. So
Well, it doesn't mean
anyway,
they don't struggle. Hey,
well,
and speaking of that, we're in season, I think I told you, season 4 now of Ice Pilots,
yeah,
or as Lisa loves to call it, Ass Pilots.
nice,
It makes me laugh. But
yeah.
I'm enthused because after 3 seasons of sort of berating and making fun of people, she's really into it now. She is. And so,
That's awesome.
well, and it's, I don't know how many seasons total. You've seen the whole thing, right?
Yes, I have. Yep.
And so I think it's like 8 or something. But so
Yeah,
we're
6, I
back
think.
in the early teens or something, 2012 or 2013, and she's Mikey has started working out with a personal trainer, a very
Oh, yeah.
attractive personal trainer, by the way,
Yep, yep.
and Mikey's starting to lose some weight. Apparently, 40 pounds, and I'm like, oh, okay. She said, "Oh, Mikey, that's awesome. Yeah, he's looking good. He's really."
Yeah,
You're
look him
starting
up
to talk
now.
nicely about Mikey, who you've been making fun of for the last 3
Poor Mike.
seasons.
I love Mikey.
Well, he's a lovable guy. I
Yeah.
don't see him running an airline.
Again, behind the
Yeah.
scenes, he's probably a lot different. I mean,
Probably
again,
so, and it's so much production, as you know,
exactly,
but,
exactly. They're
and that's
telling a
the other thing.
story.
It's what? They are
They're
telling a
telling a
story,
story.
but it's not an accurate story necessarily,
No.
it's just to make it more, they drum up stuff all the time. "Oh, this is not going to be the worst thing that happens to Mikey today. Do, do, do." And then it goes to a stupidly placed commercial
Yeah.
because it's IMDb and it's, like in the middle of somebody's sentence, and that's when the commercial comes on. And then when the commercial is done, the nice part about it is it shows 33 seconds or whatever the commercial total
Yeah.
TRT is. And so when it comes back, it's like the second half of the word they cut into. Yeah. So anyway,
That's one annoying thing I've found with pretty much all of the video
yeah.
on demand type services now. They all do that.
Well,
YouTube
and
has
most
been
of them, or
even
many
worse.
of them, we don't have commercials. They're not supposed to,
Right, right.
Prime and Netflix, but this is on Prime, but it's from IMDb.
That's interesting.
Oh yeah, or at least that's how I'm watching it. So it
Yeah.
has these silly and they're not long typically. There are some,
They're just annoying.
that they are a little bit
Um,
annoying.
but back to the airport thing. I don't like
Yeah.
airports. Not commercial airports. I don't like walking through the terminals. I don't
No.
like going through. Who does? Who really
I
does?
do love private airports though,
Yes,
because
private
they are
airports
really
where
cool.
exactly.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
really are. But I
Yeah.
don't mind the airplane. But I agree with you. If I had the choice and the time, that's the key right there. The time,
Yeah.
I'd be driving everywhere.
You
But
enjoy driving.
I enjoy
a
driving.
lot.
I like to sightsee. I don't even if I can avoid it, I wouldn't even take the freeway. I take the back roads.
Well, I own a Harley, so that's my default
That's your
anyway.
bag, right?
It
Yeah.
is, yes, exactly. So yeah, we have it's between where we are and the Harley dealership, it's
Mhm.
probably 18 miles, maybe, I'm guessing, on the interstate. And you know what? It's 75, 80 miles an hour. And I'm just not as comfortable
Right.
at that rate of speed because you're surrounded by who knows who,
Yep.
and
Who are probably not paying attention.
and you're going at that clip, and so I am paying attention, but at 75 or 80 miles an hour, well, 75 typically, it's it's just more fun to take the back road, and it takes
Yeah.
us an extra 15, 20 minutes. Who
Oh
cares?
well,
It's no
exactly.
big deal. Yeah. So anyhow, we've learned the
It's
back roads.
the back roads are fantastic. I love
Yeah.
the back
Well,
roads.
and they're
So
kind of curvy too in this
yeah.
particular way that
Oh
we go.
yeah.
So it's awesome. It's a
Yeah,
lot of fun.
that's fun. You're gonna I bet you're looking forward to being able to pull your Harley out almost every day of the
Well,
year when you
except for the
except for the
rain,
rainy days. Right. That's why I said
which
almost every
I
day.
know, I know.
You're not moving to
Well,
California, buddy.
no, it's not a San Diego thing, but it is. Florida's interesting like that because for during the rainy season, whatever the heck that might be, it will rain every day at 4:12 p.m.
Yeah.
and hard.
Yeah.
It's pull off the road rain
Right.
almost every day, and then suddenly uh, it stops raining and it's humid as hell for the next hour until the sun goes down. And
Yep.
but that's Florida, and that's how it is. Other times I've seen when they had we were at Clearwater Beach once, and it was so perfect. It was, I mean, everything, the sun, the beach, I mean, everything was perfect. And we could see a wall of clouds at over by Tampa. And you'd see it, and they had tornado warnings, there are sirens going off, and we're like, boy, looks bad over there. And it was perfect the whole time. So it's
Wow.
just interesting how that works
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
So thank you. We're on the beach.
You're on the beach. Not yet.
Yes. No,
Still got a little while to go.
Yeah, I know. And I
Have
got
they
the
broken
call
ground
from
yet?
nope. We're
Oh.
going next weekend though. Spending
Oh, are you going to get a golden shovel?
Longish weekend. No.
Not a golden shower, a golden shovel.
Both of those are
Oh.
icky. Yeah, no, the shovel would be fine. But
Shovel would be fine. That's the traditional breaking ground shovel. You like how
yeah, we used
I'm
a
shoveling?
shovel when we broke ground at our church building. I don't think it was golden though. I think
Wow.
it
Well,
was,
you're missing out.
just
That's
a regular. It seems like it would be excellent. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's Jesus's shovel, so it's probably
Well,
not
that
very
would be-
ornate.
Yes, probably not. It's a blessed shovel,
It's
and
the
you dump a bunch
coveted.
of holy water on the
Yeah.
ground before you dig because
It's they used it to bury the Ark of the Covenant, and which controls the or contains the cup of Christ, or the chalice of what is it? But
well, it's
it was the whole Indiana Jones.
yeah. What do they call it?
The
yeah.
chalice from the palace that has the fruit,
chalice
the
from
juice
the
that is true.
palace.
You know that movie, huh?
It's the chalice from the palace.
Yeah,
I
that
like
has
it.
the juice that is true. No, the fruit that is true, the juice that is. I don't remember the line.
I don't either.
But
Yeah,
a great
I have
old
no
movie
idea.
with Danny Thomas and who else was in that movie? Some other comedian of that age. Probably something way back from the 50s and 60s.
I
Maybe
would
not
say
even that new.
Thomas. That puts you right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Danny Thomas and Ricky Ricardo and who else was in that time
I
frame?
can't.
Well,
Yeah.
Milton Berle and
Milton Berle. Yep. Yep.
Jack Benny, those guys.
Oh, yeah. Anyway.
Yes.
So
Anyway,
we would love, as John was starting to say before we got down another rabbit hole, or I tried to get him back on track, and he just
nope. Watch me.
swung his
Bunny
arm
rabbit.
and knocked me right
Saw the
off.
cottontail.
Peter Cottontail. We'll call you Peter from now on.
Please don't.
Anyway,
yes.
If you have any stories from traveling, we still have to say during COVID because we're still in it, even though things have lightened up quite a bit and the world is starting to look a little bit more normal. I don't think it'll ever get back to normal, but it's starting to look more normal.
It's looking less different.
It's looking less different than what it used to be. So
right.
We would love to hear your stories. Head up to PoddiMouths.com. And then from there, you can leave comments there. You can shoot us an email. Yep. You can go up to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Leave us comments there. Let us know. We want to talk about stuff that you want us to talk about, not just what we want to talk about, because we've been doing that for 3 years.
That's not true. We only want to talk about what we want to talk about.
Oh, hey, I thought you were going to say, no, that's not true. That
we got a request from a listener and a viewer who wants us to talk about the price of tea in China. Well, we're not going to do that. But thanks for the request.
That's right. Hey, never once did I say we're actually going to talk about it. I'm just looking for more content to fill.
No, we want to talk about what you want to talk about. No, we don't.
Well, maybe they want to talk about what we want to talk about.
Then we'll tune into their podcast.
Well, we should do that anyway.
And we'll have all our friends tune into their podcast.
Hey, I tell you what, if you tune into our podcast, we'll tune into yours.
That's true.
Yep.
What if they have a crappy podcast, though?
We didn't say we had to listen. We just tuned into it.
We tuned in. I downloaded
Follow and subscribe, just like you're going to do right now. Here on YouTube.
Will we go and send them lots of money on Patreon?
Yes, or we'll buy them a cup of coffee.
We will buy you a cup of coffee like our friend Bill does for us from time to time.
Yeah. Well, Bill shouldn't be the only one buying us coffee. Yeah, we seem very
go broke.
He is going to go broke.
Yeah,
Someone else should buy us some coffee. So, guys, if you really like this podcast, or if you really hate this podcast, buy us a cup of coffee. Because either you're doing it because you love us, or you're doing it so we shut the hell up because
you want us to be awake all night.
That too. You're just being cruel now.
If you don't like us and you buy us a cup of coffee, make sure you write a note in there. Please drink after 4 p.m.
Yeah. There you go.
I think we'll do that for you.
But unfortunately, John, we do have some jokers that listen to our podcast who would probably say that anyways, even though they do like the podcast.
What?
So confusing. Mind blown.
Okay, Nick's been trying to finish now. And
I'm always trying to finish.
You are always trying to finish. I've heard that about you. In fact, I read it on the men's room wall.
Well, that one said something about finishing early, which we're definitely not doing on this podcast.
No, it seemed to be that you were writing.
But what were you doing in the ladies'
men's
restroom?
room?
No, the ladies' restroom. What were you doing in the ladies' restroom?
I wasn't in there. I was cleaning it probably.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
My part-time job.
Well, you gotta have a habit, I guess. Wow, have to have a side gig. Guess podcasts aren't cutting it for you.
Apparently not. But I could use more coffee.
You could definitely. So could I. And you know what? I could also use a drink. So I'm going to sign off now and go have one.
It's time for that for sure.
It is time for that. Folks, have a wonderful week. Thank you for listening. And we'll be back next week, hopefully with a semi-live episode. I guess because it's a real episode. A new episode. That's what I was looking for. We'll be back with a new episode. If not, we'll be back with a classic episode. And if not that, we won't be out with an episode. So, either way, you're going to win.
We'll be back with a new episode next week.
Bye, everybody.